There's a famous adage attributed to Polish weightlifter Jerzy Gregorek that goes, easy choices, hard life. Hard choices, easy life. Clearly, he never saw you could just set the game to easy mode. Welcome to Deep Thoughts While Gaming. I'm Chris Chappell. There's nothing like relaxing to a long, hard day of work in a game. It's called a work simulator. And perhaps the indie work simulator with the most ambition is Big Ambition. The player starts off broke in New York City, which is a relatable situation for Gamers Unbeaten staff. The player must balance their needs of sleeping and eating and find a place to live, working to support themselves and satiate their needs. On its surface, it looks like your boomer parents were right. Why would you spend your free time doing this? Maybe you should just go get a real job. But your parents are forgetting one critical factor: suffering. People are hardwired to avoid painful or uncomfortable experiences. And that is the secret to why you hate being a cashier in the real world. But as soon as your shift ends, it's back to big ambitions. Sleeping on a bench on a New York City sidewalk in the middle of winter is an uncomfortable experience. Starving in real life and having a video game character in dire need of food are two entirely different sensations. When you check in for a 10-hour shift at a retail job you hate in the real world, you have to be there for 10 whole hours. When you check in for your 10-hour retail shift in Big Ambitions, you can just skip time. Yes, playing a video game is in fact a more comfortable experience than dealing with real-life poverty. A few hours in the real world are weeks in Big Ambitions. You can go from working for minimum wage to owning multiple businesses and investing in just a matter of weeks. In the real world, it might take you years before you're even able to afford to live downtown in that cardboard box of your dreams. This is why you like work simulators like Big Ambitions more than your real job. Tangible and measurable progress. As you get your character's routine set, you can speed through days at a time, while the character endures your abusively frugal routine with minimal and easily ignored complaints. You reap easily measurable benefits from your homelessness and your appalling diet, building towards a concise goal of opening a business. The gameplay loop opens you up to frequent rewards, with clear progression at every turn. This visible progress and frequent rewards are universal to gaming, and tickle our brains in a manipulative but fun way to keep us playing, and blunt the painful reality of your actual job, or lack thereof. Playing video games, especially games like Big Ambitions, could be called Epicurian. That is, aligned with the beliefs of the ancient Greek philosopher Epicurus. The main goal of an Epicurian is to have as much pleasure as possible while avoiding pain as much as possible, to optimize one's pleasure to pain ratio. In Big Ambitions, the player can roleplay as a successful entrepreneur with a rags to riches story in only hours of real time, without ever having to subject themselves to the real-life suffering and adversity that story would require. 19th century philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, a man who would be highly skeptical of the possibility of Epicureanism, once questioned, what if pleasure and displeasure were so tied together that whoever wanted to have as much as possible of one must also have as much as possible of the other? You have a choice in life: either as little displeasure as possible, painlessness in brief, or as much displeasure as possible as the price for an abundance of subtle pleasures and joys. The idea that pain and pleasure correlate to each other in similar amounts can be reassuring or terrifying, but it does make sense. One may opt for the life of painlessness, settling into a simple and modest routine with a career they can tolerate, and have a moderate amount of time off to play Big Ambitions on their subpar PC to recharge themselves. On the other hand, one could work harder for a more time-consuming career and have less time to play Big Ambitions on their high-tier gaming rig, perhaps with a shelf of rare Funko Pops as well. Those are the simple pleasures and joys attained by their choice to suffer. Still though, for the person who opted for the route of least displeasure, the words of Jerzy Gregorek may echo in their minds when they see their real-life rent bill and are forced to pick up extra hours. Perhaps pain and pleasure are not entirely correlative, and making easy choices to avoid displeasure will result in more displeasure than the path of willfully confronting displeasure. Whatever is the truth, sometimes easy decisions can be beneficial to a person. One example would be to keep watching Deep Thoughts While Gaming, which you can do by clicking on this video here about the problems of identity in Baldur's Gate 3.